£85,000. Mid-level, no coding required. If you work in finance, operations, procurement, or project management, and you have never seriously considered a career in FinOps, these numbers are for you. This video covers every salary level, UK and US data, contract rate, how fast you can realistically progress, and exactly what makes the difference between the lower and upper end of every range. Let's get into it. Quick context before the numbers, because they make more sense once you understand why the role exists. FinOps stands for Cloud Financial Management. When a company moves its infrastructure to AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, it starts receiving enormous monthly bills. The average enterprise wastes 32% of its cloud budget, that is hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of pounds per month, going directly in the bin. A FinOps analyst brings financial governance to that spend. You identify waste, you build reporting, you sit between engineering and finance and translate between the two. And you do not need to write a single line of code to do any of it. That is why the role pays what it pays. You are solving a genuine, expensive, growing problem. Let's start at the beginning. Your first FinOps role. Entry level in the UK sits between £45,000 and £60,000 per year. That is a FinOps analyst role, typically 0 to 2 years of direct FinOps experience, and it does not require a technology degree or a coding background. To put that in context, the average entry-level finance analyst in the UK earns around £33,000. The equivalent FinOps analyst role pays £19,500 more on average. Same transferable skills, different context. What gets you to the upper end of that entry-level range? 3 things. First, the FinOps Foundation certification. We will cover the salary premium in detail later, but it consistently adds between £8,000 and £15,000 to starting offers. Second, the sector. Financial services, consulting, and large enterprise technology companies pay at the top of every range. Third, location. London roles pay a premium of roughly 10 to 15% over regional equivalent roles. Here is where the career trajectory becomes genuinely compelling. At 2 to 4 years of experience, you're looking at £60,000 to £85,000 as a senior FinOps analyst. That is a realistic 4 to 6 year journey from your current role in finance or operations, not starting from scratch, but repositioning what you already know. At 4 to 6 years, FinOps lead and manager roles run from £80,000 to £110,000. At this level, you are typically running a FinOps practice within an organization, managing a small team, setting cost governance policy, presenting to C-suite stakeholders. Principal and head of FinOps roles at 6+ years sit between £95,000 and £130,000. These are rare, but they exist, and they are growing as organizations build out mature FinOps functions. The progression is faster than most equivalent finance and operations careers because the discipline is young. People with 5 years of FinOps experience are already considered senior in a field that effectively came into mainstream use around 2020. The contract market for FinOps practitioners in the UK is one of the most attractive in the broader technology sector right now. Entry and junior contractors are commanding £300 to £450 per day. That is £60,000 to £90,000 annualized on 200 working days, significantly above the equivalent permanent entry salary. Senior contractors, typically 2 to 4 years of direct FinOps experience, earning £450 to £700 per day. 200 days, that is £90,000 to £140,000 per year. At principal and consultant level, £650 to £900 per day is not unusual, particularly for multi-cloud environments or for practitioners who hold additional certifications in AWS or Azure cost management. The contract premium over permanent employment at senior level is substantial, typically £40,000 to £50,000 more per year in take-home equivalent. The trade-off is the lack of employment security and the IR35 considerations that apply to inside IR35 contract. But for the right profile, someone with established FinOps experience and a network in place, contracting is a compelling option. For those watching from the United States, or anyone considering working in the US market, the numbers are even more significant. Entry-level FinOps analyst roles in the US sit between $70,000 and $95,000. Mid-level senior analysts earn $5,000 to $130,000. Lead and manager roles run from $120 to $165. At principal level, $210,000 is achievable in major tech hubs. The US market has a meaningful city premium on top of these national averages. San Francisco commands roughly 35% above the national figure. New York around 22%. Seattle, which is home to Amazon and Microsoft headquarters, adds approximately 18%. The FinOps Foundation certification is equally valued in both markets, and the skills that translate from finance and operations backgrounds are as applicable in New York as they are in London. One of the most frequently asked questions I receive is whether the FinOps Foundation certification is worth it. The answer from the salary data is unambiguous. The FinOps Certified Practitioner qualification consistently adds between £8,000 and £15,000 to starting salary offers in the UK, £12,000 on average. In the US, the equivalent premium is approximately $12,000 to $18,000. The certification costs $250. It takes 4 to 6 weeks of part-time study. On a £12,000 salary increase, that is a return on investment of approximately 6,000%. Nothing else in professional development comes close to that ROI. Beyond the salary premium, certification changes how hiring managers read your application. Without it, a non-technical background requires more explanation. With it, the case is made before the interview. The certification is not just a qualification. It is a trust signal in a field where employers are still learning how to hire. Salary ranges are just ranges. What determines where you land within them? Certification is the highest single impact factor at entry and mid-level. Adding cloud provider certifications on top of the FinOps Foundation qualification, AWS Cloud Practitioner, or Microsoft Azure Fundamentals adds further credibility and salary premium. Sector matters significantly. Financial services, management consulting, and large technology companies pay at the top of every range. Public sector FinOps roles exist but sit at the lower end. Multi-cloud experience is increasingly valued. The ability to work across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud rather than a single provider makes you significantly more hireable and more expensive. Location commands a real premium. London FinOps roles pay 10 to 15% more than equivalent regional roles. New York and San Francisco carry even larger premiums in the US, and negotiation, specifically knowing what the market is paying, is genuinely worth thousands of pounds. Most people accept first offers without negotiating. In FinOps, where demand exceeds supply, there is typically room to negotiate. Let me put the entire picture together into a single timeline. Month 0, today. You are in a finance, operations, or procurement role earning around the UK average for those positions, £42,000. By month 3, you have completed the FinOps Foundation certification. Part-time study. No career break required. Total cost, $250. By month 6, you are in your first FinOps Analyst role at £50,000. That is an £8,000 increase on day 1 of the new career. Month 18. You have been in the role for a year and have been promoted to Senior FinOps Analyst. £70,000. You have also likely picked up one cloud provider certification during this period. Month 36, you are now a FinOps lead or manager. £88,000. You are managing a small team and presenting cloud cost strategy to senior leadership. Month 60, 5 years from today. Head of FinOps or principal practitioner. £110,000 or equivalent contract rates if you have moved into independent consulting. Compared to staying in your current role for the same 5 years, the FinOps path generates approximately £130,000 more in total earnings over that period, not accounting for the contract premium or the equity upside of senior technology roles. Every number in this video is real. These are market rates, not aspirational figures. The question is whether they are relevant to you, and that depends on your background, your experience, and how your existing skills map to what FinOps employers are actually hiring for. That is exactly what the free quiz go.beupwardly.tech/FinOps tells you. It takes 5 minutes. It looks at your background and gives you a personalized assessment of how strong your fit is for a FinOps career and what your first step should be. No email required to start. Link is in the description and pinned in the comment. If this video was useful, subscribe. Cover FinOps careers, cloud finance, and how non-technical professionals make the move into tech every week. See you in the next one.